It is, what is today? Wednesday, December 6th, 2017, and I am Tenacious Earl, and I am not going to have, probably not going to have a golf video tonight. I'm putting together my next tournament for the Tenacious Golf Tour, and I just wanted to give some updates on kind of what is going on with that, and not only that, but kind of give some updates on some plans that I sort of have in the works. So, first off, the Tinseltown Open, which is scheduled for 2018. I think the date is March 8th through 11th, 2018. So that's sort of a virtual date. That's going to be going on here. I've already got the qualifiers going for that, and kind of have it narrowed down as far as the field goes to like the final four. 3 of the final 4 are going to get in. So my roles didn't exactly go the perfect way, as far as I like to have like 6 or 7 golfers playing in for a couple spots, but instead this time the ones that were sort of extra, so the ones that were in sort of the automatically qualified, and then I have some that are extra. The ones that were automatically qualified, there were more than the spots that I had. There was one more than how many I had available, so I had to figure out another way to do that. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I probably will do that offline, just because I feel like it's somewhat extraneous to the actual tournament itself. There's a very good chance that none of these golfers will be involved in the final round or become outstanding golfers or anything like that. So I'm probably just going to play this offline. So that's where we are. That's tournament 5 of 24. So let's first talk about next steps for my golf efforts. So I don't know. Last year, I started the Tenacious Baseball League, basically as a project to kind of get going with something with Stratomatic that I had bought, which really kept me enthralled for the better part of a year. And I've continued playing Stratomatic and now some History Maker baseball as well. So baseball is still near and dear to my heart. I'm still going to be playing some baseball. But the tough part is right now this golf thing, the History Maker golf, I'm a golfer. If I had the time and money, I would have been golfing this afternoon 9 holes. I would have gone out there and done that, just because it's something that I very much enjoy. And I very much enjoy this History Maker golf game. So don't be surprised if the next couple of weeks the videos that I put out are related to that. Because my general desire right now is to almost create a fictional, granted, a lot the main golfers that will be in this. Of course, I get a call as soon as I'm in the middle of a video. There goes my bandwidth, and I'm going to shut this off and see if I can catch it back again. Just a second. Well, it looks like it's transmitting, so hopefully this is still doing its thing. If anybody is watching this live, please comment and let me know that I have I had somebody call my phone. I use my phone to record, and it doesn't happen very often, but so what I'm trying to do, getting back to what I was talking about, is I'd like to create a fictional golf universe. And like I said, Keith at Play, I'm using a lot of the cards that they have developed. At the moment, I'm a little bit. I'd kind of like to do a rewind and a reboot with the cards that I've created. But let's see. Loud and clear. Feed is fine. Okay, Beatles, thanks. I'd almost like to restart with the fictional golfers that I've created, but that being said, I've got this going. I kind of want to see this out, and I can incorporate the golfers that I got from Keith without much of a problem at all. But so here's my thought. I like the idea of at least, but probably at the moment only, 2 tours that are going to be going on somewhat simultaneously. The Tenacious Golf Tour and what I'm calling the Slacker Tour. So this is kind of like the Web.com tour. And I'd like to have some, and I already have created. So let's start with the Web.com, or the Slacker Tour. It's going to be shorter. It's going to be a 15 tournament season. And it's going to be a lot of the fictional golfers that I've been implementing, the ones that I've created. And basically anybody who is trying to qualify for the Tenacious Tours tournaments, they're going to be automatically assumed to be card holders from the Slacker Tour. And I've created a bunch more cards. I haven't printed them out yet, but I've already gotten them basically designed and ready to go. It's just I have to print them. I'm not ready to do it yet because my plan is to start the Slacker Tour when the Masterful, which is the TGT's version of the Masters, is going on. Because obviously, if you're familiar with the Masters, it's an invitational, so there aren't that many golfers. So I figured this would be an auxiliary tournament for these guys who are qualifying to kind of get started. So my philosophy on creating these fictional golfers, let me just give you a quick overview. So if you get something from Play, like one of the golfer sets, or even baseball, but the golfer sets mostly, if you notice, those are 162 golfers, and what that is it's 54 times 3, so you get 18 cards on, and then 9 sheets, I guess, if that makes sense. It's really annoying me. I've got a voicemail and the thing won't leave me alone right at the top of my screen. It's like, okay, I get it. It's I got a voicemail. I appreciate that. But anyway, so what my plan here so I've created 2 more sets, okay? And the first set I made because I was going to have this Slacker Tour, and so that's 162 more golfers that are going to go into this universe. There's going to be already I think I had like 54. I think it was only maybe 50. I don't know, something like that. It wasn't nearly as many from the previous time that I had sort of leftovers, but that'll be a pretty good thing for the Slacker Tour. But so then I mentioned about a second set. So what is the second set? I hope I can just swipe this thing away because it's really annoying me. Yay! Okay, good. So the other set here. So I decided I was going to incorporate my idea, which was it kind of goes off of what Tabletop Earl did and Baseball Demos did last summer, which was they created some, one was History Maker, I forget what Tabletop Earl did, but cards that were based off of community members. And the reason I created a whole another set of 162, and here's the thing, when I make these sets, I like to make them randomly, and I like to have sort of a bell, it's not really a bell curve, but it is a curve of traits, and each trait is assigned relatively randomly. It's a certain segment, and it's somewhat out of what the play, like the player creation document that I have. It kind of talks about that. A lot of what it talks about in there is being able to recreate statistical seasons, or try and get guys to about the right scoring average or things like that. Or, guys that are like tops in driving distance. Well, I'm not going by any like mathematical, decision on I want this guy to be a bomber and I want this guy to be stone as far as, touch from 100 yards or whatever it is. But what I did want to do is I wanted to be able to create. I thought what I've always thought would be neat since I've had this game and since I knew you could create the cards would be to sort of randomly populate those traits, but in a statistical fashion so that each golfer is going to get some traits. And so that's what I did. Now, I was going to do that with. So here's what I've done so far. There are a couple guys. And this other set, it's called the 2018 Friends Plus. Okay, so the Friends, it's the people who are currently patrons. It's also a couple of guys at the moment who I consider, dear at this point. I've been chatting with them a lot, and I thought that they were showing some investment in what I'm doing here with this. So I decided to hand out a couple of other cards for that. If you're not a patron and you don't, because if you haven't heard about this yet, and this is the first you're hearing of it, and you're not a patron, then you don't have a card. If you are interested in a card and want to get involved, I can just add you into. I can erase one of the other player names, like one of the fictional player names that I have there, and put you in. I'm not going to guarantee you any particular traits. I'm not going to guarantee you any particular tournament rating. It's basically just going to be random, and because that's the way I want to do it. So here's the thing: if you see your card and you wish you had this or that or the other, as far as traits go, you don't like the fact you have this. I understand. I'm willing to do a little bit of negotiation. But for anything good that I add or anything bad that I add, I would like to sort of like balance it out. So if you say, man, I really don't want to be a semi-rust putter. I'd like to be gold. Well, that's basically a 3-step jump in your rating. So I would that would be really tough. Now, what I could do is like subtract you down 3 rungs from the woods. So let's say you happen to be, a champion in the woods. We could, I don't know what 3 is back, but it might be normal. I might just take away your woods quality if you wanted to be really good at putting. We could probably negotiate that, but I'm not just going to like put in a trait because, or I'm not going to seed it with like the best traits. I just don't want to be doing that. What I want to do is I'm trying to seed golfers in that are unique, hopefully, that have an interesting, well, I don't know if it'll be interesting, but I'm hoping that randomly we will gain some guys that play very well. And my plan is to progress through the system. I want to figure out a way to make tournament ratings go up, to maybe add traits over time based on performance or subtract traits based on lack of performance. And I'm still kind of like going through that up here. I know that there's some talk about that on the Delphi forum. I've read a little bit about that. I kind of like developing this kind of stuff on my own, and I don't really like the feeling like I'm taking somebody else's idea. But there is this stuff around here. But so here's the thing. So I have this Slacker tour. Then the third thing that I'm kind of thinking of doing with so here's the thing. So like I said, I created 162 others. 30 at the moment, or roughly 30 of them are these patrons/friends. So again, comment or email me at tenaciousstrat@gmail.com if you are interested in a card, and because I haven't really been taking notes on who is into this. I would love to make you a card if you are interested in watching the videos and participating. So all the other fictional guys are going to just be guys that I kind of bring in as, and part of this progression stuff that I'm talking about. I'd like to figure out a way to also have golfers either retire or they flame out because of poor performance. They decide they got to go get a job, flipping burgers down at, whatever, Wayback Burger, or whatever you've got near you, In and Out. They can't do it anymore, or they're going into modeling and something. They've got some other, they're going to go up in the booth and whisper about the 35-foot putt that breaks from right to left. This is going to be a tough one here for birdie. So, you got those kinds of situations. So, as we have guys sort of like, as we have some attrition, maybe I'll cycle these. So, but I also want to cycle in eventually some of these friend cards too. But what I want to do first is I want to come up with some fun, I'm almost thinking of it as a golf club, if you will. And whatever that means, whether that means I don't know how easy it is to figure out a way to play a scramble format in History Maker Golf, or doing the club championship, or having the member tournament where you go up and you two up and you pair up into best ball, or twosomes, or whatever they call it. There's a couple of formats you can do. Skins games, weekend, the weekend buddies get together for a Nassau, quarter a hole, quarter for each 9 or something like that. Or heck, it's fictional. We can make it $25 a hole, and just for laughs and such. But so that's kind of my thought right now. Is I'd like to have some fluid movement. I'd like to have guys come to greatness. Currently in this fictional set that I have from play, there's a couple guys that are going to be very good. I'd like to see us be able to make and have it be natural. I don't want it. One of the things I'm not thrilled about with the tournament rating system is that you basically can already see who's going to be near the top of the money list, because it's going to be, your ones are going to be in the top 10. Just the way it is, because they're going to make a lot of cuts, and they're going to make a lot of final 6 groupings. So, that makes it, I don't want to say it makes it less fun. It just, it changes it, because you kind of have an idea of what's happening. And I think it's just always going to be that way with this game. Part of me would like to figure out a way to dilute the influence of that out. And so I'm going to be, this is going to be something that's going to be racking my brain for the next several months, trying to decide the best way. Part of me would like to just, use the draw and the top designations out of, off of this chart here. I'll show you it right here, this chart. But, so a lot of the newer golfers, and like this Slacker Tour, it's going to be a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s, and even some 6s. I'm trying to sort of get it from, so you've got 1 to 5 in the Tenacious Tour. The Slacker Tour is going to be like 3 to 6, and maybe we may see some golfers trend down towards 7. I think you can go as low as 7 in the ratings, but what I'd almost like to have is a much more wide array of, let's say, 3As, 3Bs, 3Cs, down to like 4B. So then when you go and try to make the cut, or, what you end up having is a whole host of 3As, and then what you do is from there you draw 3 from that. And that way I think you might have a little less, where you're going to have Trent McAdams and Dustin Emmerich and Gil Granbury every time, in every, and it's kind of that way in real life. You can't get away from that. You have Ricky Fowler in a lot of them. You have Dustin Johnson in a lot of final pairings. You have, back in the day, you had Tiger in your broadcast just about every day. You had, Phil. It's just the way it is. So, I guess you can't escape it, but it would be nice, at least in this lower tour, to have some guys begin to stand out and, you know, be able to. So that's my thoughts. I mean, you're welcome to comment here on the video. I know it's a monumental effort that I feel like it's a monumental effort because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out. I've seen some, and like I said, I've seen some ideas on this progression stuff. I'm probably going to come up with my own method for doing that. I already sort of have a method, but after thinking about it more, I didn't think it was thorough enough. So, okay, I got some comments here, man. Guys, I got to take a look and see. So, can get rid of. Okay. So, we got D. Scott Howard. We've got Ken and Jerry and Beatles. I think I already said hi to some of you guys. Let's see. Who else keeps wanting to flip back to the bottom? So I'm trying to figure out if there's anybody else hanging around. RNGIDP. Hello, Craig. Okay, so another thing I'm just thinking about. I think that's... Did I see anybody else here? Okay. Now so another thing is the people who are getting characters... So I have a lot of, a lot of them use their real name. Some of them have, it's basically what we have in the Patreon account is a lot of them are real names. But if you're interested in having an alias, if you want to go incognito, and I know some of you use your names here in the chat. I don't think the chat really shows up after the fact, so you can be somewhat anonymous. Even though we see your name here, nobody's going to see it after the fact. If you're interested in your character having sort of a pseudonym, if you will, again, just email me, tenaciousstrat@gmail.com. I would love to be able to give you a character. I'm not promising you, the next Tiger Woods. All I can promise you is a guy that I think ends up being, I think that he'll be somewhat competitive, and guys that aren't too competitive, we can figure out. Like I said, I'm hoping we can do some progression stuff and maybe see how that works out. But so, do I think the golf games lend themselves to viable fictional players more so? Well, I've never played Hockey Blast, so I'm not 100% sure. I do know that one of the things that I really used to, what I would do when I had NHL, whatever it was, on the PC, is I would create myself as a defenseman with the number 74, and I would be a guy with a big shot from the blue line, and and so I think in this golf, part of it I think that would be interesting for the regulars here on the channel would be to have a look at their guy, themselves, if they want to picture themselves in that role, being in a weekend foursome, playing around at, I don't know. We're going to switch up the courses. I'm getting a bunch more courses for Christmas too, which is nice. But, play at East Lake down in Atlanta, road trip. Decided to go down and fulfill that great dream of playing some course that, Hey, Manny, when is the next Phillies game? That's a great question. I'm probably just going to set it aside here for a bit. That's what I was saying, Jerry, was that I'm once I get started in a tournament, I kind of I want to finish it out. But, I'm going to get through this Phillies project. It's just, I've got to balance it with other things, and I got to balance it with things that I find, as or more appealing right now. And I think, I kind of go in waves. Like, I'll play a golf tournament, and then at the end of the golf tournament, I'll feel like, oh, I'm ready for some more baseball. So then we'll go back to baseball. Maybe the next I'll try to get back out the TBL and do that some. But part of what I like about the Phillies is that I can start to see the finish line. There's 70 games left, or 72 games left, not counting the playoffs. So, completing something is, it feels good. So, I finished my first project, Strat. Hold on just a second here. I need to write something down here real quick. Because I might want to contact somebody here eventually. I see it. I don't know who that was for, Beatles, but I took that down as well because I may want to contact you at some point. But Manny, congratulations. I don't know how many games you had to play to complete that project, but it's always very fulfilling when you feel like you got something done, and hopefully you saw some results that you were looking for. So they're playing, the Sounders the game is on Saturday. I'll have to try and put that on. I haven't been watching MLS so much. But yeah, I mean, I was really big into soccer, and it's just the U.S. soccer thing is kind of messed up. Sounds like there's going to be some leadership changes, but I'm not sure if the leadership changes are really going to change much. But so snooze you lose, Jerry. Yeah, so that's, I just wanted to say that's kind of my thoughts here for golf at the moment. Is I'd like to find ways that will kind of try to start developing golf on YouTube, this tabletop golf stuff a little bit more. It's a really tough road to hoe. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and so, but there's enough people who are into it that I'd like to keep pushing it along here. Eventually, I may move some stuff to Facebook, either the tabletop group or the play group. I know that Al has been posting some videos. Al Wilson, he's got an 80s set that has not been released yet that he's playing some tournaments and doing a tour with. So. If you're not a member of the Play community on Facebook, PLAAY, it's a great follow, especially if you're checking out some of their games. Those guys, they're super friendly. I would seriously not talk about other games on there because it's really not cool to talk about other games on corporate websites. But what you can do is you'll get a lot of tips. You'll get some homebrew kind of stuff as far as so a lot of people put together sets of things and score sheets, and Al has shared his Google Drive folder with all sorts of game mats and things like that you can print out, which are just very, very helpful. So well worth it. So let me see. Maybe U.S. Soccer should stop making recruiting trips to the Ivies. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay, Beatles. Well, I appreciate everybody who takes the time to hang out here with me, and most of all, we just want to make this fun. Entertaining, fun. There can even, there can be times I've actually been, another guy who I've interacted with is ID Jester a little bit. And he made a great point that, you can show passion and still have fun with it. So, I've just got to find out how to, channel it in a way that, makes everybody feel comfortable, makes everybody enjoy themselves, and we'll do that. We've got lots of time here. It's not like anybody's going anywhere. So, all right. Well, I'm going to sign off here now. I want to play this play-in tonight, and like I said, I'm not going to show it because, again, it's the golfers probably aren't even gonna. There's a good chance they won't even make the cut. So why would I just want to get these places filled out, and for this tournament, and then I'll probably show the cut procedure again in a video, and I'll show the third round in a video, and then we'll probably break up the final round into 3 or possibly 4 videos, depending on how long it takes to roll it out. So, I'm going to at least, I'll give you an idea where they're playing. I mean, it's called Sunset Canyon, but it's an adaptation of Riviera Country Club, which is in Pacific Palisades. So, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal, really. But we'll probably in the broadcast I'll refer to it as Sunset Canyon, but you guys know the dirt. So, all right, take it easy, guys. I'll talk to you soon. And again, anybody who is interested in a card to have going forward, I would say email me with. You can give me your name if you want. I mean, that'd be great. That way I know who you are. But the name that you want your golfer to be, and I mean, that's probably just about all that I need. And yeah, I mean, that's probably it. It just if I ever do any other fictional, trying to create some stuff with games, if you give me that, I probably will just recreate somebody's name from in another sport too, if necessary. We'll have, Joe Dingleberry or whatever. Dingleberry. And actually, I'm going to copyright that name. It's off limits. If you use it, you're going to have to pay me royalties. I know I'm going to make some money somehow at this. Trust me. No. Anyway, thanks a lot. So again, you can email me tenaciousstrat@gmail.com if you want a character. If you have questions about it, you can include those in there too. But just give me the fictional name that you want, and I'll oblige. Spell it right. I can't help you if I misspell it because you misspelled it. If you want it, Jimmy John James, and you spell it with a G or something, then that's your problem. So, good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the flip side. Have a great one. Enjoy your tabletop sports.